through their race cars, hoping to hit upon something. He feels like he might hit a win today. To Dick Bergman.
Car number 12, Ryan Newman, the rookie, has come close to winning race after race after race. But mechanical gremlins have haunted him. Last week at Pocono, fuel pump. Talked to him a moment ago. He said he's got all the confidence in the world that he's got a car good enough to win. But he has got to avoid the mechanical problems. To Steve Burns.
Well, Michael Waltrip hasn't had a top 10 here at Michigan since 1994, but they come in with some momentum despite adversity. They finished 8th in 2 of the last 3 races, and today, Michael Waltrip starts from the front row. To Mike Joy.
This track is so wide, it's so easy to pass, and there are so many people in this garage area this morning who think they can win today. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR Winston Cup race. Today's Bud Pole winner, Dale Jarrett, joins these other drivers in the Bud Shootout of 2003. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $7 million as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. They are still filing in here to their seats, but I guarantee every one of them will be filled. And some 30,000 in the infield, making it the biggest single-day sporting event crowd in the state of Michigan.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, with those magic words of motorsports, Mr. Jim Schreier, Executive Vice President, Daimler Chrysler.
NASCAR Winston Cup drivers, start your engines!
7th Fighter Squadron Michigan Air National Guard adds their salute to ours. And happy Father's Day. We're set to go racing 70 miles west of Detroit. You know Detroit, Hockey Town, Motown, the Motor City. Had a lot of blues here last night. Gonna have a little good old Motown rock and roll. We're ready to race for 400 miles in Winston Cup Racing's first of 2 trips to the Irish Hills of Michigan. For 2002, here's the Walmart starting grid for today's race. Dale Jarrett's looking for his 4th. He got his first win here, first win ever, alongside Michael Waltrip with 4 top 10s the last 6 races. Dale Earnhardt Jr., full winner here in 2000, and Bill Elliott has 7 wins here.
Let's see if we can get a hold of Dale Jr. here. Hey, Junior, it's a DW. How you read, bud?
Going into turn 3, back straight away. I read good, DW.
Let me ask you something. You got your work clothes on today?
Yeah, I better have my own. It's going to be a long race.
Car good?
It wasn't bad practice. There's a lot of good cars. Michael's got a great car. We get on off pit road and have everything go our way. We might get something good out of it.
All right, bud. Keep your chin up. Hang in there and be tough today.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody.
Yeah, 10-4, man. Thanks.
One positive sign, yesterday he was wearing his cap with the bill turned forward, or rather on Friday on qualifying day. He says, we got to get running better so I can turn this cap around. He had it turned around this morning.
Yeah.
Now, one driver will not make the call, and that is Todd Bodine. Because of the rain delay at Kentucky last night, he has stayed there to run his Busch car, and the oldest of the Bodine brothers, Jeff, is in the number 26 Ford in replacing Todd.
We have 2 cars that will go to the rear. They were pretty near the rear anyhow for engine changes. Sterling Marlin in that 40 car, they had a lifter stick, tried to fix it, replaced it, stuck 2 lifters in the motor, and they had to change motors along with Derek Cope. Of course, Casey Atwood wrecks in qualifying, going to a backup car, so those 3 cars, even though they were near the rear, they would go all the way to the rear.
Jeff Hammond.
Today here at Michigan, NASCAR requires all the teams that start with 3.5 inches of ground clearance on their front valence. But watch these cars today. They'll have these skirts down, skipping the pavement on a smooth racetrack around this 2-mile race at Michigan. Also, the engines today, hanging RPMs can be very detrimental to these engines today. Cars have got to get up there, turn a lot of RPMs, 200 miles an hour. It's very hard on the engines here. We're watching for these guys to possibly have some valve train problems. As we come to the back of the race car, one thing today, a lot of guys are talking about the new rules from the Pontiac. How's the new spoiler in front end going to help these guys, or is it going to hurt them? A lot of teams have actually even laid this spoiler down some to try to pick up some speed. But believe it or not, it may not start at the front of the car who actually has an opportunity to win the race today. It actually may start here in the back. How much fuel can you get in your fuel cell? How much can you get out of it? And can you stretch your mileage and make these engines live and get fuel mileage to where you can go 400 miles further than anybody else on a tank of fuel? Mike?
Thanks, Jeff. In one lap, we'll be racing. Here's today's weather and race analysis brought to you by Lotrim and Ultra. 43 cars came to Michigan, actually 44, but Morgan Shepherd withdrew before qualifying. So we have just a full field to go 200 laps here.
Pit window 45 to 50 laps, like you heard Jeff Hammond talking about. It can always be an issue here. We've actually had several races here that were caution-free.
And if you go 50, 50, 50, you win.
Right. And there will be weather today.
Yes, there will. See, the air temperature, 62 degrees. These old motors, they love that cool air. Track temperature, 90 degrees, cloudy. If that sun pops out, though, crew chief's going to have to go to work and start adjusting on those race cars. These cars will start sliding around.
And Larry, you'll be glad to know that the grass temperature here in the trial is 71 degrees.
You just wait what the temperature's going to be in your motor coach, though, next week.
We'll get you some new Lotrim and Ultra, the only once-a-day cure for athlete's foot. In the pits of the pole sitter and last week's winner, Dale Jarrett, he says, yes, momentum's on their side, but preparation got them the pole here. This car was all prepared long before they came even to Dover.
See, it's not just the driver. You see all those guys, they got their heads together. It's just like any other team. It's all about supporting each other.
Looking back through the top three, Jarrett, Waltrip, Earnhardt, and Bill Elliott. Onboard cameras with the top four, and keep an eye on the man in fifth place. I think the sleeper today is Ward Burton. He's trying to break out of a slump. There he is just in front of Elliott Sadler, and Burton not only qualified fifth, but he was second fastest in final practice.
He's been fast ever since they unloaded that race car on Friday.
Just a quick fact, interesting thing, that the average start winner came from 8th in 1996, now in 2002, 15th, so you can come from anywhere and win this race.
Perry County, Ohio says,
one thing we know for sure, you can't do anything, you can't go anywhere until you come down here and you look for that green flag and it's out waving, and boys, we're going to go racing. Boogity, 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 go boys.
Blues brother Dan Aykroyd gave the field the green flag, and Dale Jarrett leads them to turn 2.
Bill Elliott in the 9 car, though, he jumps to the high side at the start-finish line. We saw this yesterday in the ARCA race. That second line, you keep that momentum up, carry that speed down that back straightaway.
And you can see that Yates power kicks in down that straightaway, too. But let's see how Bill likes the outside going into turn 3 here. It should be good for him.
He's always been good here. He's won a lot of races here. He's considered the adopted son of Jackson, Michigan, and here he comes to lead lap 1.
And I believe, in my opinion, he is considered to be the favorite today, too, because that car has been fast. I believe he and Ray have got something working.
Darrell, he drove that thing in turn 3 and 4. That's what I love about Michigan. That second groove, that third groove, good grip. You can run up there.
Yeah, if you keep the engine wound up and you pull a little higher gear, save a little fuel, everything's better when you can run up around the top.
Jarrett had a run on the bottom, but he is thwarted by Ryan Newman, who's drafted Elliott down the backstretch.
Ryan Newman was a good learner right there. He saw how it worked for Bill Elliott.
Yeah, and guess what he'll do? He'll take it one higher. He says, if it's good up there in the third lane, let me get up in that outside lane, up next to that wall.
Earnhardt Jr. alongside his teammate Waltrip.
Michael needs to go to school on these guys because he tried to run the bottom and they're going around him.
Well, I was just about to say the top 10 cars were lined up with Michael Waltrip kicked it inside. About the time I was thinking that, Ryan Newman in 12, he turns it to the bottom of the racetrack.
Now here's where you got to be careful coming up off of these corners underneath somebody. You'll get that back end sucked right out from under you.
I mean, Darrell, you carry so much speed getting in these corners. It's right at 200 miles an hour, and you just breathe the throttle for a second. You can pick it back up wide open well before the center of the corner.
Yeah, and we consider this track a relatively low bank track. 12 degrees of banking is not a lot of banking, and so you got a lot of speed, but not a lot of bank to hold you.
The field is trying to sort out single file. That's not an easy task once you get past 20th.
No, you kind of got comers and goers, you know. Guys that started up front, the cars aren't just right now. They'll be going back, and guys in the back that he got it right, they'll be coming to the front. One of them is that 24 car back in there. He seems to be moving up pretty quick.
Up to 17th is Jeff Gordon after starting 24th. Here's Steve Park and John Andretti side by side.
It's a battle for 13th.
There's Gordon just at the bottom of the screen. He's working the bottom of the racetrack and getting the job done right now.
Up front, Dale Jarrett is in a lane by himself, and he's going to get overhauled here by Junior.
I just believe overall that the Dodge and the Taurus aerodynamically have the best balance for a track like this. They don't have to lay their spoiler down like maybe the Pontiacs and the Chevys do. Some of the Pontiac and Chevy guys are actually 70 degrees to the normal spoiler. They're back to 55, and I've even heard as low as 50 to try to get straightaway speed and balance.
Jeff Gordon in 24, Bobby Labonte in 18 cars side by side. Jeff Gordon, he's been working the bottom of the racetrack at both ends, just like you see right here in 3 and 4.
Well, that's a good thing. If your car will run down there and you don't clog it down coming up out of the corner, then obviously it's the shortest way around the track, and it's a good way to pass people in a hurry.
Harvick in the middle, slices to the bottom with that silver car to go up against Steve Park and take the position away. 15th down in turn 1.
Pretty hard to make that stick. Pretty hard to drive under people right there and make the pass unless you slide. Put a slide job on them, then you can do it. But you got to be sure.
And he's back to 18th as quickly as he got up to 50.
You can get a great run down this front straightaway, 3 or 4 wide, but when you get down there to the turn, the guy on the inside sometimes is in jeopardy.
Darryl, you talk about the aerodynamic balance. I know this is a 2-mile racetrack. It takes about 40 seconds to get around this place, but you are turning. You're in the corners about 2/3 of that time. So downforce and balance is pretty important.
14 cars have broken away single file, but from 15th on back, it's a dogfight. You're right in the midst of it, riding with Johnny Benson.
One outside.
27.
And you can get a run on the guy. I mean, you can. The thing that happens here is you can have a fast car, but you can't go anywhere. You get a run on the guy, you get under him, but you can't quite make the pass.
Ryan Newman leads Bill Elliott. They're the only 2 drivers to lead in the 7 laps we've run so far at Michigan International Speedway.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has taken the lead from Ryan Newman, and that time coming off turn 2, Newman had to back out of the gas and look at him stack up right behind him.
Yeah, they got a real race going off in second, but not for long because Bill just makes a pass. One of the best races I ever saw here in my life was the high-rock race between Dale and Dale Sr. and Dale Jr. I tell you what, they had everybody in this joint on their feet. So Dale Jr. knows how to run Michigan.
Let's show you the lead change at lap 10. Dale Earnhardt Jr. put the move to Ryan Newman.
Ryan may have overdrove the corner just a little bit. The car washed up with him. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 8 was able to pick that Budweiser throttle up a lot quicker and able to take the lead. And I talked to him this morning, Darrell, and they fought for that first hour in yesterday's practice. Tight, made some changes. They were pretty happy with the car. That's the oldest car in their stable from when he won the Winston with the Lowe's Motor Speedway 2 years ago.
I can't tell you how many times I hear that through the years. It's the oldest car we got, but I love it. If we could just build a new car like this old one, I'd really be happy.
Let's get an update from Dick Berger. Well, at about the same time, Earnhardt and Newman both keyed their radio and talked to their crews about the behavior of their race car. Earnhardt, Larry McReynolds, you got it right. His car is still very tight. Ryan Newman's problem is that his car is loose. They think the problem is at the right rear. They're going to work on air pressures when they get an opportunity to pit. Mike? Among the biggest gainers, Jeff Gordon from 24th to 13th and Ricky Rudd from 26th to 16th. Jimmy Johnson has come from 14th to 7th in the 48.
48 car looks mighty strong right now.
And he's able to run at the bottom if he needs to, but he's able to run up high as well. And I talked to Chad Chanel this morning. He was happy with his race car. He said his little driver wasn't too happy.